David, you said a career high made three-pointers tonight. You were kind of the only offensive player to really get going for a majority of the game. Can you just kind of talk about what Providence defense did that kind of allowed you to take as many threes as you did?
Yeah, I just think their ball screen coverage early allowed me to see one go in, and then they kept on trying to switch it up on us, and I think it was just a couple miscommunications on their end and good coaching on our end, and just got me some nice open looks tonight.
So obviously a tough loss and everything of that nature. What is the message that you're giving your guys and coaches giving you guys to go into Saturday and get a win against Wichita State?
I would say that I think tonight we showed that we can compete in the Big East, but that's not good enough for us. We strive to win in the Big East, and we expect that of ourselves, and we just want to be better.
You played strong the entirety of the game, and you played to the very end. What do you think the biggest difference maker was coming into overtime?
I say just there's a couple plays here and there that you just got to come up with a couple balls, loose balls, 50-50 balls, and we were right there the whole time. And honestly, from this tough teams they come together and they learn from it.
Isaiah, this has been kind of a theme: slow starts to start games, but especially slow starts out of the second half. Can you kind of talk us through what goes on during halftime and what you think might be a reason for some of the slower starts, especially out of the second half?
I wouldn't say there's a specific thing that is causing the slow starts. We've had great starts coming out of the second half too, but just know that we're doing what we're doing, and we're trying to make this thing roll.
David, two straight losses here. What is the biggest thing you guys think you need to work on, moving forward to kind of get over that hump against, tougher opponents coming up here?
Yeah, I don't think there's much we need to change, like schematically or anything like that. I think it's just all about coming together and being more consistent and just buying in what we do. And I think if we do what we do best, I think we can hang with anybody in the league. So it's about coming together.
So you guys are 7-2, which is still really, really, really great. So talk to me about how you guys have come as a whole together each and every game as a brothership on the court and a brothership off the court.
Yeah, I would just say from the first day, everyone is very selfless on this team, and I think moving from there and just Coach Holtman bringing a bunch of great guys into the fold, I think has allowed us to gel so quickly when it's not natural to have everyone on the team be brand new. So I think it's just about everyone's personality and just how they all have great character.
This being the first Big East game, you guys probably expected a big crowd, but it feels like the arena was really rocking tonight. So even though despite loss, how great does it feel just knowing the city of Chicago has your back going forward?
It feels great. We could really feel it when we were making our runs. We could feel the defense chance. We could feel that, and we appreciate that, and we hope it continues. And we're gonna work as hard as we can to bring wins for this fan base.
Thank you.
What's one word that you would describe DePaul basketball's fan base?
Rowdy.
Guys, Jacob Meyer showed a lot of fight today and came up big for you guys continually. What's it been like playing with him in some of these games and just feeding off the energy that he's brought?
It's been great. He's a heck of a talent, and he's learning every day too as he goes. He's a young guy, and I think every game you're gonna see him get better and better.
Give Providence credit. Tough team. They're good defensively, and I thought it was a kind of a Big East battle there in a lot of ways. So we've obviously got to do a few things better across the board, and that's what's in front of us here. But give them credit here.
Chris, another slow start out of the second half. Have you or your staff been able to kind of pinpoint? You guys have had slow starts out of the second half, but also to start the game. Just try to kind of match the energy and to carry the momentum out of halftime.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we're looking at. I think it's something we're looking at. That's always something that's, if you see a trend with it, you're looking at it with coaches. So whether it's lineup situations or whether we got to get them back out there quicker. I don't know. I think it was 8-3 in the first 4 minutes of the second half. So, yeah, you're always evaluating that.
And then Layden didn't start tonight. Can you kind of talk about the rationale behind that?
No, it's just team decision, yeah.
Coach, obviously the slow start, but what does it say about this team that they were able to fight back and then go on that big 25-5 run and just compete with Providence there down the stretch?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a game of runs in the first half there, wasn't it? I think I tell you this. It was a really really physical game as we expected, and I think neither team could really pull away. Although I think they might have had a 10-point lead, we might have had a 10-point lead, something like that. Listen, this group really fights across the board. There's no question. I think everybody's seen that. The challenge for us is you got to be able to take lessons like this and figure out a way where we can be better, and that's what's in front of us. And good teams really have that. They just find a way to kind of say, okay, hey, I can do a few of these things better. Players, coaches across the board, they find a way to respond and get better, and that's what I'm anxious to see with this group. So we've got great kids, and I think they'll respond that way.
Chris, JJ, only 14 minutes tonight. Can you kind of talk about the rationale, because you've talked him up in previous matchup as being a really good ball screen defender. So can you kind of talk about the rationale of only 14 minutes in this game?
Yeah, no, I think it was a combination of I thought a couple times, honestly, he had loose balls that he needed to get on. JJ's going to be really important for this group throughout the season, and we could have probably dispersed his minutes a little bit better, more evenly with him and Troy for sure. My challenge for him is just continuing to play with the kind of motor we need. Behind you.
Coach English sort of gave you your flowers for what you've been able to do so far this season. What are your thoughts of just kind of what this game would look like later on in the season when you guys can come together and mesh a little bit more?
Well, yeah, no, I think listen, this was a game that we expected. We thought it was going to be a really close game. It was, again, I think it was our most physical game, but give Providence credit for that. They made a big three with 55 seconds to go on the clock. Give their guard a lot of credit for that. I thought we did a great job getting a stop. I thought we had some really, really good moments in this game that we can build on, but we just need to continue to get better. Listen, I think who you are in January and February, you hope, is a lot different than in November and December, and that's the challenge, I'm sure, for Kim and his group, and that's the challenge for us. Obviously, they're at full strength now, so it helps with having Bryce back, but for us, it's about just continuing to grow, and this is a really good group to coach and a fun group to coach, and I'm excited to see how we respond.
Coach, how important for you and your team, your players spoke on this a little bit. Today, Wintrust was a little rowdy, and the fans' student section was there. How important for you and your team is it that the students keep showing up for you?
Well, I think I love our student turnout. I thought our home crowd was as loud as I'd heard it all year. It was phenomenal, and give them a lot of credit. I just really appreciate. I know our players really appreciate them, and I think they've got a group that's a competitive group and fun to watch, and we need to be better. But man, I have no idea what the numbers were in terms of attendance. What I do know is we really heard them, and they were phenomenal.
What was your game plan for David going into this game?
For who?
For David.
Skogman?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Like, he shot his career high from 3. He played great, and he was shooting the ball a lot. So, like, were you more focused on him getting his shots off, or were you?
No, no, it was more of a byproduct of how they were playing. They were doing some switching, and then, listen, when you have a five that switches onto a perimeter, and you respace the five, a couple times they lost him. It's a challenge sometimes when you're switching 1 through 5. Our guys did a good job finding him. I thought Layden did a terrific job finding him, and a couple times so did Connor, and he did a good job being ready to shoot.
Coach, another tough night for Layden. Obviously, play really well defensively, but 0 for 5 from the floor offensively. What do you guys as a coaching staff tell him after a couple of these rough games to kind of get his confidence back up?
Yeah, no, I think Layden's going to be really important for us this year. I loved his energy defensively, and I thought his energy across the board was good. Listen, he'll be a guy that offensively will get into a rhythm. We'll do some things where we can hopefully help him with that, but I thought he played as hard on the defensive end as I'd seen him, and that's neat. That needs to continue because he can make a real impact there.
Chris, can you talk a little bit about what you thought about the transition defense? Because there was a couple times where it seemed like you guys were just a little bit lost. Can you talk about
It was the worst part of our defense. I thought our half-court defense was really good. I thought our transition defense was the worst part of our defense tonight. We've got to get better with that. We gave up way too many easy scores, particularly in the second half. Give them credit, but it was a byproduct of us just not getting matched and sprinting back quickly enough. And that's on all of us, coaches and players. We got to get better with that for sure.
How do you go about fixing transition defense? Because most of the time it's a catch-22. You don't know where the ball's going to be. It's going to be different player bringing it up every time. So how do you coach that?
Well, we got to work on it. We got to have better communication, and I think in this case we just have to have better urgency than what we had. I just don't think we had the kind of urgency we needed to. I think it was one that got downhill a couple times on us late or in the second half. We just need to be better.
Second start for Jacob. Kind of what do you like to see out of him in the starter role as opposed to the bench?
Well, I think again, listen, guys, we're not tied to a starting lineup. As you guys know, it's December. Guys will get rewarded based on how they're impacting possession by possession winning. That's the bottom line. How are you impacting? And we have enough data right now that determines how players are impacting winning. Defensively and offensively, what's their efficiency, and then it'll what's their practice habits, and so we're not tied to any particular lineup here. We're always looking at the analytics behind the efficiency of everybody. It could be, I'm not in the business of necessarily changing lineups every game, but it's going to be fluid. We've got as many as 8 to 9 guys that could start. That's why. I understand the question on the change in lineup, but it's usually just, it's a team decision based on some of the numbers and maybe, other factors, but it's all aimed at what's the best group to put out there. But we really do have 8 or 9 guys that can start on a given night.
Emotionally, how are you feeling?
I'm excited about getting this group better next time out, really. We played a good team. Providence is a good team. Give them credit. This is a big boy basketball, so, we're used to it. I think our guys, it's good to have an experience against this level of play.
Coach, Wichita State up next on Saturday, and now that you guys have faced a couple tough defenses in Providence, Texas Tech, and even Eastern Illinois, how are you going to prepare for them? Because obviously they present a tough defense despite being a mid-major.
Yeah, well, I would characterize them as a high major for sure, given the league they're in. I believe we have a home and home with them. It's very much a high major program. Terrific coach, terrific history in that program. I've not had a chance to watch them much. You've probably looked at their numbers more than I have. Our focus was always on Providence. So we'll look at it. They're off to a really great start from what I understand. So it'll be a great challenge Saturday here in Wintrust. And the biggest thing for us is looking forward to getting better here on practice here on Thursday. That's going to be really important for us to watch the film, figure out how we can improve in transition defense in some areas, figure out as coaches and players how we can be a little bit better moving into Saturday. All right, thanks, guys.